Welcome to the People's Assembly of Immigration Reform. We are here today because it is a critical time in our state. While the rest of the country is moving forward on immigration reform, Kansas has taken a drastic step back, introducing two anti-immigrant bills. SB 140 is an Arizona copycat law that legalizes racial profiling of anyone suspected of being unlawfully present. HB 2192 repeals in-state tuition for college-eligible undocumented students. We are here to expose these hateful bills. We are here to break down the myths of immigrants. And we are here to bring light the immigrant contributions to our community. Today you will hear stories from real people who are already suffering under our current broken immigration system. Several years ago, I took a position at an immigrant rights organization. During my time there, I became increasingly disturbed by what I was witnessing being played out across the country. My first thought was disbelief. How can states get away with passing legislation that targets people based on the color of their skin? I then became sad. Sad because over and over again I heard stories of people afraid to leave their homes, afraid to send their children to school. People were afraid to take their elderly neighbor to the doctor for fear of being arrested for aiding an immigrant. Children were being bullied in school because of the color of their skin. Workers were denied their pay for work already performed and instead threatened to be reported to immigration. People were denied housing unless they could prove a lawful status. I knew then that I had to do something, but I didn't know what that something was at the time. Arizona had passed its draconian anti-immigrant law, SB 1070, the prior year. This law gave state and local law enforcement the power to engage in immigration enforcement actions. It also allowed for warrantless arrests of individuals based solely on suspected immigration status. The Show Me Your Papers provision, which was upheld by the Supreme Court of the United States, required law enforcement to demand documentation from anyone whom police suspected were here illegally. But let me ask you this. Do I look illegal?
No.
No.
Yes, no, maybe. As you can see, the problem with this provision is that it is impossible to tell the documentation status of an individual simply by looking at them. This law did nothing to fix the broken immigration system. Yet Arizona has served as a laboratory for an elite group of racists to test out their policies of hate. Copycat legislation of SB 1070 has since been introduced in several other states. These laws encourage unlawful arrests that tear families apart and jail people under inhumane conditions. People, including children and elderly, are detained for weeks, months, and even years without ever seeing a lawyer or talking to their families. Some that are deported never find their loved ones again. These laws create more isolation in our communities by discouraging people from turning to police when they need help. Crimes go unreported, making our communities less safe. These laws also undermine public safety by burdening our police force with additional immigration enforcement duties. They divert our already limited resources from local policing to the terrorizing of people based solely on what they sound or look like. These lies divide people along ethnic lines, pitting people against people. They open the door for private citizens to discriminate and harass people of color. Most importantly, these laws strip immigrants of the very few constitutional rights they currently hold, making them non-persons. They become baseless commodities in the pursuit of higher profits for the private prison industry. Now you have to ask yourself, is this what you want for Kansas?
No.
No.
We don't. These policies only serve to rip families apart, instill fear and hate, and burden our economy. In honor of welcoming the stranger tradition, we are here to tell our legislators that we will not return to the times of Jim Crow where people are relegated to a status of second-class citizens. Instead, we want policies that reflect Kansas values of family unity, justice, and opportunity. Before we hear personal stories from our friends, I would like to turn it over to Pastor Ruben Eccles.